I was talking to my friend Mark a couple of moments earlier, and I was telling him I'm probably going to make the laziest video ever. And then I did the thing that I do before I do nearly everything, which is that I went online to find inspiration, which is another word for procrastination. And I came across this video by Kevin Marcus Jr.
I feel like it's important to share the struggles because it would be not realistic if I was making videos 7 days a week, every day, almost at a month now, and didn't run into days where I struggled and had trouble and didn't feel like making anything.
I had plans to publish a video every Tuesday. That's been my promise to myself. I'm filming this after finishing work, and I have to edit this and put it out within the next 2 to 3 hours before it's midnight. And it's a personal promise that I've made for myself, because I realized that for me to achieve the goals that I want to achieve in the long term, if I keep breaking promises that I make to myself, then that doesn't happen. So one of the things I've been really focusing on, actually two things, is Medium and YouTube. And every single day I have to write something, every single day I have to work on my videos. And so when I watched Marcus said some really interesting things. First, his opening was really cool. It was like, when we share these things, when we share the struggles of being a creative, and when I talk about things I'm going through, like when I made a video of my accident, a lot of time when I do a lot of these processes, it's not because I'm looking for pity. Like, Marcus put it so well. I think you should watch the video. I'm going to put a link, of course, in the description where you can watch. But many people, I think, misunderstand the point of coming online and making a video talking about the difficulties. The big difficulty that I'm facing right now in the process of creation is that lack of motivation that happens sometimes when life gets overwhelming, whether it's at work, whether it's with the family, whether it's with health. There are times when it gets really difficult to create, and it may come to some people who are watching this as a shock because, first, it's something that I never talk about. I don't think I talk a lot about the process to actually describe it or capture it in a moment to show you, like, this is how difficult it is for me to actually make these videos or to write or to create. Like, people, I think a lot of people who know me personally think that I'm always motivated, that I'm always, high energy, I'm always creative, and I keep going back over and over and over, and I don't feel pain. One thing that I wanted to do with this particular video, which I would like to do with more videos, actually be more honest about the process. There is a lot that goes into building a life that you want that people don't talk about. We hear stories of people who've succeeded, like, with interviews that you hear on maybe Oprah or Trevor Noah interviewing people. It's people who've successfully made it, like they went through the process. Survivor bias, where those who made it tell their stories, and then we tend to think like, oh, that was nice, but we don't talk about the hundreds of thousands, probably millions of people who don't make it. People who want to do basketball or music or YouTube, who start and stop, and then eventually just give up, and they're like, yeah, YouTube doesn't work. I find myself in this particular place because the past week has been rough. Like, I did a couple of streams, which I'll be doing a lot more of, and I had to travel to go for a doctor's appointment, drove to Denver and came back, and I felt pretty good about it. That was like a huge win that I'll probably never share on YouTube, because I just don't want to be filming anything in cars anymore until when I get more comfortable. The thing that really resonated for me with Marcus's video is that path of the struggle is part of the journey. And I wanted to share the struggle. I actually probably going to use the same title as this video because I would like to actually connect more with you at this level of understanding that a lot of the videos that I make, or the content that I write, or the things that I preach about, building meaning in your life or having better connections, it's not all great. It's not all awesome and successful and happy. Like, not all the time do I feel like I want to be doing these things. And I also saw this article, I haven't finished reading it. I think it's by Tim Denning on Medium, where he says, you don't know how to, you don't feel like doing it, now what? And it's where I want to end this particular video in. It was supposed to be a short rant, a very short video, because I said I was going to make a video on Tuesday, and I really don't care at this particular point. Well, I do care, but I realized that if I think too much about the process of the type of video I want to make, the advice that I've heard, the feedback I've gotten from other people, I will never make any video. I will never actually do the things I'm supposed to do. Some days you're not going to feel like doing it. Some days you're going to wake up and it's going to be one of the days that, oh man, I wish I could sleep in. I wish I didn't have to work. I wish I didn't have to have this conversation. It's going to be difficult. I mean, I'm actually going through that right now. I'm going through a bunch of difficult things that I wish they weren't happening, but they are happening. So what? Like, not like, so what, get out of the way and do the thing. It's more like, okay, they're happening now. So what am I going to do? Because complaining about things, crying about them, wishing that things were different, trying to go back in the past, nobody can go back in the past and change anything, right? You can't go back and unsay things that hurt the feelings of people that you care about. You can't go back and wake up earlier and do the job that you were supposed to do before the deadline. You can't go back and do that. So yeah, you don't feel like doing it. Now what? Now what do you do next? And that's the question I always ask myself, like, how bad do I want it? Particularly in the case of waking up in the morning. Most days I wake up pretty early. That's when I sleep early. But the days when I sleep late and I want to wake up early, not a good idea, by the way. You get some terrible headaches. My body tells me straight up, like, bro, go back to bed. But some days I wake up and I know that I've had enough rest, but then my body's like, this is nice, this is comfortable, let's just stay here and sleep. And then I asked myself, I've been training myself to ask myself this question very early in the morning, like, how bad do you want it? And when I think about how bad I want it, like, it is a life where I live on my terms, where I have time to hang out with my family, where I do the kind of work that I like, where I travel as much as I want, where I do what I want to do. When I ask myself how bad do I want it, it almost always settles me into the place of, yeah, this sucks, but I have to do it. And it's not about, I don't feel any negativity towards it. I don't feel any emotion. I don't feel any like, oh my God, I'm so unlucky that I get to do this thing. It's more like, this is what has to be done. It's important work. It has to be done. And it doesn't matter how I feel about it. And so it's this weird mind space where I'm at right now, where I had this video I wanted to edit. I started editing and I found out I had this weird thing on my hair. I was like, damn it, I have to shoot this video all over again. But it's Tuesday, so what do? Right? I can't just say, well, guys, sorry, I promised a video, I didn't do that. But if I want to create a promise to myself, I'll have to do the thing that I said I was going to do. And when I think of that and, you know, watching Marcus think about this, it gets me to realize that we need to share more of the struggle. Like, people who are making things, who end up successful, I feel like the journey, documenting this journey is very important for people who are coming after us in a way. Because people think that it's all, like, I'm talented and I love writing to the point where I want to write every single day. I know people who say that, you know, they enjoy writing every single day. And, you know, intellectually I can say, yeah, I like writing. But the process itself sometimes gets so hard that it's easy to give up. That if you don't actually have that mentality of understanding that this is part of the process, this is part of the journey, you have to accept it. The struggle is part of the journey. And yeah, I'd like to leave you with that thought. And I'm putting a link of Marcus's video on the screen here where you can watch and take note of that. And I'll see you in the next video.